starting to warm up. It's springtime. Now's the time to go out in my backyard, get my backyard ready, amended, prepared to plant all of my seedlings. Come join me. Hey guys, thanks for coming back to Louisiana Simple Living. It's Daryl. So it's getting up around 80, I think, today. Springtime is upon us. Got a lot of my winter garden I still have. I got to pull some plants up. I got to go ahead and amend the soil. I use a blend of compost, also with some sphagnum peat moss and some perlite. They didn't have vermiculite at my local nursery. But it's time to go ahead and get my whole backyard ready for spring planting. My seeds that I sowed inside, they're ready to go. I think by next weekend, it'll be time to go ahead and plant some things. So come join me as I go through the process of getting my garden ready for the spring. All right, went back legs. Got a bunch of cow manure compost, chicken manure compost, and mushroom compost. And I got 2 round bales of pine straw. And they were completely out of vermiculite. Perlite will have to do. All right, as you can see, we've made kind of a step change the way it looks here in the garden. And you see Croy, say hey. All right, still got some lettuce going good. That's celery coming in. Some onions, a couple of cabbages, a little purple cauliflower, and a cabbage over there. Some beets, Swiss chard. You gotta love it. You can see a little ladybug on there. Some collard greens, I'm gonna pull them up. Onions, and I'll go back by there in a second. Swiss chard. Some pretty plants. Swiss chard there. Some carrots, some onions, some collard greens. I'm about to pull them collard greens because I want to plant some other stuff in here. Some garlic. And a little purple cabbage. Broccoli going to seed. And going to seed, bee seed, 2 or 3 bees on it, so I'm not going to tear it down quite yet. Got some cabbages. Cabbage looks like it's done pretty good. Garlic. It's a Romanesca type of broccoli. More garlic. Romanesca again. Onions, elephant garlic works 2 rows. There's some, I think, Italian, soft neck. And you gotta love volunteer green wave mustard green. There's a celery, tall Utah. There's a celery, tall Utah. I got another one. And it was actually planted right here last year. You know, one thing you gotta do in your spring garden is you gotta go ahead and weed. The good thing about a raised bed, though, this ground is a little bit packed in, but I haven't walked on it. But if you till it and you walk on it, you end up squeezing everything down. And then it's just really difficult. See, in this case, I can just pull on them. They come on up, roots and all. Right, so if you notice the cattle panels now right here, the other one I'd already moved over 1 bed over to the right. And I'm filling in all the different spaces with pine straw and some just regular old straw. I know I'll get some grass probably from that, but that's okay. All right, so you can see here I got some black cow manure, composted cow manure, mushroom compost, and then composted chicken manure. So I got all these beds I got to clean up, put some more soil in. Go ahead and harvest some things. And in the process, I'm gonna go ahead and I got some weeds back here I gotta pull, and just to kind of dress up, make the garden look good. Alright, got my round bundle of pine straw, so I went ahead and weeded all along the edge here. So it's time to put some pine straw down and dress this walkway up. Tell you what, so the pine straw is starting to get there. I just got to straighten out my stones a little bit. That broccoli went to seed, and there's just continuously a bunch of bees on it. All right, you see the bags? That's next. I got to go ahead and amend the soil. I've done weeded everything pretty well. Went ahead and put down some pine straw and some just straw that we use from Halloween decorations. And that's why sometimes my stuff gets kind of walked on. Alright, so I got some winter crops I still got to pull up. I got all those collard greens over there. Still got a bunch of work to do. Let's get started. Alright, so I got a echinacea, I think it's called. Right here, it's a perennial, which means it will come back year after year. Let me get my dripper hose out of the way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix in 3 different kinds of compost. I'll blend up 3 different kinds of compost. This is mushroom compost. Some composted cow manure, black cow brand. I'm gonna throw a little chicken manure compost in here. I don't do a whole bag because it is really it can burn your plant. Yeah, be careful. Alright, about half the bag. The Mel's Mix is what I call it. That's what it's called. Mel Bartholomew, Square Foot Garden fame. It's his Mel's Mix is a mixture of 3 or 5 different types of compost. A third of that would be 3 to 5 different kinds of compost. A third is Sphagnum peat moss, and a third vermiculite. Unfortunately, my local nursery didn't have any vermiculite. Looks like it's kind of hard to mine right now. I don't know. I guess people aren't working, or at least supply chain's an issue. So perlite will work instead. All right, we're going to move on to this bed. This is the one that I did the Spring Garden 101 in. You know, over time the volume just kind of goes down. So I'll need to go ahead and amend the this bed here too. And that perlite just really helps keep your soil pretty friable. Ain't nothing like the smell of chicken manure. And I get it as you get a little bit older, I'm slowing up a little bit, right? Can't do quite what I used to do. So we pace yourselves. That perlite just gives it volume and it's friable. Your Sphagnum peat moss pretty much holds the moisture. And your compost obviously provides nutrients, as my rock dust provides some micronutrients, a little bit extra. So after finishing this bed, I went ahead and finished almost all the remaining. I still have that one against the fence I got to do. Of course, I still got these winter plants. So I got all 4 of these 4x5 beds. And I got these 3 12x4 beds. Haven't done this last one here, this long one, this 16x4. And almost completed this one. Still got a little bit more to do. So with all the beds, or most of the beds at least, amended, I went ahead and put the pine straw out and the other straw to kind of clean up the garden. Also moved the cattle panel trellises. So it's getting ready for a nice spring garden. All right, just a real quick look at the seed sowed inside. You can see some tomatoes, mostly Martino's Roma in the back, and the rest of these are peppers. The peppers just doing great. Tomatoes doing great. Need to get them out planted as soon as we can. This was a kind of a grab bag of different herbs, along with some eggplant and some peppers in the very back, some tomatillos. Everything's doing pretty good. I end up dropping the, my light's kind of fragile. As you can tell, it's kind of held up with duct tape on one side and box tape on this side. Nevertheless, it does a good job. This tray is nothing but peppers. Can't wait to get all these peppers out. I had some various flowers in this tray. Some did well, some have not. That's why it's called gardening. It's not just all of a sudden you have flowers, so you got to work at it. All right, this is a whole tray of tomatoes over here under this one light. It probably needs to, they need to go out and get planted. We'll do that this week. Hey guys, it's up in the lower 80s. It's springtime out here. It's time to get the garden ready for our spring planting. Another week or two, it'll be time to go ahead and plant in here. So what I normally like to do is when I go ahead and amend the beds, I like to let it rest at least a week. 2 weeks is preferable. So hey, thanks for coming back to Louisiana Simple Living. It's time to get ready for our spring garden. So we had to go ahead and weed some, put some pine straw and some just regular straw down different walkways. It's time to go ahead and amend our beds, get them ready for our transplants from our inside sowing. And that's what we did today. Alright, don't forget about Spring Garden 101 series. It's 11 videos that goes all the way through the planting, through the seed sowing, all the way through that process. Very informative. Take a look at it. It may be very helpful for you, especially if you're a beginner gardener. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, like that video, and feel free to share it. As I always say, make memories now rather than later. Make memories with your family and friends. And as always, I will see you on the next video.